What's up, Bulls fans? Welcome into another episode of Bulls Latest. I want to start today's show by getting you guys to tap that link up top there, guys. Scan the QR code. Join Underdog Fantasy today. There's tons of great NBA action tonight and throughout the weekend here that you're not going to want to miss. The Bulls have a big matchup with the Timberwolves on Thursday night that I'm going to preview here to start the show for you guys. But again, thank you to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. It's a great time to jump on in, guys. Take advantage of $75 in bonus entries after playing your first $5 today. Scan that QR code to get started. Jumping into the Bulls T-Wolves game, guys. The Bulls will go to the Target Center in Minneapolis for this matchup against the T-Wolves as considerable 8.5-point underdogs. Total sitting at 237.5. I don't really understand this line at all, especially the fact that Josh Giddey is now listed as probable for this matchup. We're going to get Josh Giddey back after his layoff here with that injury. That's very exciting news if you're Chicago. So you're going to have Kobe White out there, Josh Giddey and likes, and everybody is starting to get to play together once again for this Bulls lineup. And this is a Bulls team who's won 2 in a row in 3 of their last 4 games. They've looked really good the last couple times out, guys. And then Minnesota, on the other hand, they've lost 3 straight games. Now, this is one of the Western Conference's stronger teams. For certain, I mean, they're going to be looking, they have championship aspirations this year, guys, but they've lost 3 straight. So is it a get-right spot for Minnesota? I'm not so sure about that. We'll find out. 7 p.m. Central tip. You can catch that on CHSN. Big game for the Bulls. Excited to see Josh Giddey back in action here. I think that it's going to be an opportunity for the Bulls to come away with a 3rd straight victory here, guys, as a considerable underdog. So look to take the Bulls plus 8.5. I don't really have a betting segment on the game for you guys today, but I would lean plus 8.5 with the Chicago Bulls. I think that they're going to be in this ball game. I think that they're going to go punch for punch with the team who's been really good all year but struggling of late. So, I wanted to look back at, and this is fun if you're a Chicago Bulls fan. It's got to make you feel good at how far he's come in such a short amount of time. Rewinding a bit to last year in Modest's first career start in Minneapolis last season, he made his first career NBA start on February 5th, 2025, guys. He had 14 points in that matchup, 3 blocks, and 2 steals in the Bulls' 19-point loss. The Bulls did get smoked in that game, but Modest certainly had a decent performance in his first ever NBA start. This year, you fast forward a little bit, he started now all 43 games for this Bulls team, taking averages of 15 points and 1.4 blocks into tonight's game at Minnesota. Boy, what a difference a year makes. I think Modest Buzelis is going to be a star in this league for years to come and certainly a fixture in Chicago Bulls lineups moving forward. This is a really exciting young player, guys. You guys know how high I've been on Modest all year long and even preseason. It's awesome to see, though, just how far he's come when you look back at his first career NBA start in the building the Bulls are about to take part in tonight's matchup in February 5th of last year. So anyway, that's some exciting news. Going to be fun to see Modest. I mean, certainly it's going to be a memory for him going into that building, remembering making his first career NBA start in that building. And certainly I hope we're in store for another big performance for Modest Buzelis in Minnesota on Thursday night there. Jumping into the underdog segment today, guys, fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Playing on Underdog is easy, guys. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Get your picks right and win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week on Underdog, I am looking at that Bulls T-Wolves matchup. I'm going to select Modest Buzelis, guy we've been talking about. I think he has a monster matchup. I'm going to go higher than 13.5 points for him. And Julius Randle, lower than 22.5 points. He is questionable for this matchup. I do think he's going to go. I'm going to take the under or the lower on the 22.5 points for Julius Randle. I think that injury and any question with his health is going to kind of hamper his ability to go over that. Again, use promo code BasketballFan to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5, guys. BasketballFan. To get that bonus there, guys.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/play and get terms DFSTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8 or text HOMI 467-369.
Jumping right back into things, guys, I wanted to take a look at and talk with you guys. I mean, it's going to be a big part of my shows going forward through that February 5th trade deadline, the trade buzz and the recent trade buzz around the league. The Chicago Bulls are certainly going to be in talks probably the entire way when it comes to trade buzz. All the way through the deadline. They're going to be very active this year and certainly have a lot of pieces that could prove valuable for some teams looking to add some depth and some contributing pieces to a playoff push. Starting, though, with Jonathan Kuminga, he's consistently being linked to the Sacramento Kings. That's probably the front runner at this point, and leave it to Sacramento to make another interesting decision as an organization there. I just don't know if they're going to benefit much from having a guy. I mean, Jonathan Kuminga is a heck of a ball player when he's healthy, but there certainly is a lot of baggage, especially with how things have gone in Golden State with him. So the Kings, look out for them to make a move on Kuminga at the deadline. The Dallas Mavericks are also a team that is in secondary position when it comes to Jonathan Kuminga. They're in an interesting spot. You obviously have the All-World Cooper Flag, the young superstar there, but a team was looking to add another player who could pack a punch. Jonathan Kuminga could make a lot of sense for the Dallas Mavericks. It's kind of sticking with the Warriors here. Last year, if you guys remember, the Golden State Warriors were chomping at the bit for Nikola Vucevic. I don't foresee Golden State making the same inquiries on him this year as they did last season. I think a big part of that is Al Horford being there. That has a lot to do with that. Al got off to a really, really tough start this year in Golden State, but he's played really well of late. So I think that all but kind of wraps up any conversations Golden State's going to have in regards to Nikola Vucevic. Now, Vuce is going to have a heck of a market, I believe. Interestingly enough, though, and I've talked about this, a couple months ago, even the start of the season, the market for Vooch is definitely not as strong as it was a year ago. And Vooch has honestly had a pretty solid season in comparison to a year ago. He's been playing really good basketball. We'll have to keep an eye on Vooch, though, to see if anything happens with him. And then I wanted to dive into, guys, Arturas Karnisovas' last three trades. Looking at AK's last three moves, I mean, if you really look at all three of these moves, guys, there've been really, really good moves when it comes to AK and how they've kind of panned out to this point. You got the Okoro, of course, number one on the list, the Isaac Okoro for Lonzo Ball trade. I'd call this move a net plus for the Bulls at this point. I think when you look at Isaac Okoro and what he's provided to this team, and really what you're missing from Lonzo Ball, I think the Bulls have kind of patched up what the elements of the game that Lonzo Ball brought to the table that they were missing. They have a lot of good potential in some of these young guards that are playing for Chicago right now. And I just think Okoro and what he provides to this team on the defensive side of the ball and then in the rebounding department, I think it's definitely a net plus for the Bulls at this point. I would consider that a win for Arturas Karnisovas at this point. Second on the list, obviously, the Zach LaVine trade. And this is a win for me as well, guys. The Bulls added three solid and intriguing players from this. When healthy, you got Zach Collins. He's been very, very good. I know he's been dealing with his fair share of injuries recently in this season, but hopefully we get him back healthy. When he's been on the floor, guys, Zach Collins has been very good. Kevin Huerter, he's been a great piece this year as well. You guys know how high I was on Kevin Huerter coming into this season. Now I know he's missed his fair share of time due to injury, but this guy has been the realm of consistency for Chicago since coming over from that deal. He's provided a great spark for this team. And then finally, Tre Jones. Now, need I say more about Tre Jones? He's been a very, very valuable piece to this Bulls team, and he's actually put himself in conversations in this coming year's trade deadline to be moved. He's got a very, very tradable contract. Obviously, the Bulls signed him to that extension, but again, a very tradable contract for him. So teams are definitely going to be calling on Tre Jones, and what a monster season he's had. So when you look at those three guys, flipping Zach LaVine, yeah, I know Zach LaVine was the embodiment of what a Chicago Bull represents, and he was a great guy in the city of Chicago and what he represented for this city and this team. But when you look at overall that deal, I think it was good for both sides for Zach to get a fresh start. Obviously, it hasn't gone real well for him on the other side, not in terms of individual performance, but the Kings have just been kind of a mess. But the three pieces the Bulls got back, you got to feel good about that moving into this trade deadline for AK to possibly make a move such as this one. And then finally, guys, the Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso trade. Now, this trade has been huge for both sides. Aligned to OKC's timeline was a guy in Alex Caruso who's been really, really good for them and provided them an opportunity to go and win that first ring that they did. And then they're in prime position again, guys, to go back-to-back this year. They're going to be a very hard out in this year's NBA playoffs. So I think arguably when you look at Josh Giddey, he's been fantastic for Chicago since coming over, and more importantly is one of the core pieces moving forward. AK in this front office obviously giving Josh Giddey that extension, making him a part of the plans moving forward. I think this is a guy who is going to be a staple for the Chicago Bulls in the very near future here. So obviously a win-win for both organizations, and that Giddey for Caruso trade is one that's going to be looked at as one of the more impactful trades overall that you could possibly have. So this year's trade deadline, you're going to see a lot of action, but just kind of looking back at the Bulls' last three trades, AK's done a really good job in my eyes, and I think he will continue to pull the right strings this year, and I'm excited to see what goes down and what he looks to do. So we'll certainly have to keep an eye on that as we move into the next couple of weeks. Wrapping up the show today, guys, D Rose in the retirement ceremony. The Chicago Bulls have been waiting a long time for this. This night has been circled on calendars of Chicago sports fans for a long time. D Rose's jersey will take in the Raptors with the likes of MJ and Scottie Pippen at the United Center. He will become just the fifth Bulls player to have his number retired in franchise history. Looking at some of the festivities before this game, there's a special fan experience in the United Center atrium with artwork honoring D Rose's career and also interactive media walls showing memorable moments. I certainly cannot wait to see what that looks like. He obviously, for a lot of us, and I mean, me being 27, this guy was my childhood hero in terms of a Chicago Bull. As far as many others go in Chicago as well, there will be an interactive photo ops as well, including a hologram and dynamic video displays and themed food and merchandise options for Bulls fans as well. It's going to be a monster night, a very emotional night for D Rose. Fans with tickets to this game against Boston will also receive a free commemorative T-shirt and a collective D Rose figurine there. What a night it's going to be for Chicago. I'm certainly excited to see how this unfolds and see what D Rose has to say with his number going up there with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and the others in Bulls history. This is going to be an awesome, awesome experience. Certainly, we know, guys, Chicago needs a little pick-me-up after that devastating Bears loss in the NFC divisional round last Sunday. Chicago could use this, and I'm certainly excited for it as well, as I myself am still sulking in that Bears loss. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Bulls Latest. Again, guys, scan that QR code above. Get in on all the NBA action this weekend on Underdog Fantasy. So many great markets and games and things to take advantage of on the Underdog Fantasy platform. Again, thank you to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video, and we will see you guys next week.